Hello, I'm Leisa Holland-Nelson, co-host of Culture Club HTX, and excited to be here today with my fellow co-host, Shavonnah Schreiber, the one and only beautiful best friend ever.
Blessed. Remember,
blessed.
like
Is
CJ.
That what you are?
You told me. You said CJ was blessed, and then you said I could be blessed too.
Yeah, but we're not in the sports segment. We'll do that.
Wow. Conditional blessings.
You're not blessed here in the fashion segment. You can be blessed in the sports segment.
Jeez. Okay, that's
well,
fine.
I'm super excited to do the fashion segment today
Magical.
because our guest, and I'll let you read this fabulous bio of our guest, is a dear friend of mine, Donna Cremosta. And I got here today, and I have to tell you, I feel badly that I hadn't read the show sheet. So I said, what segment are we putting her in? She could be in all of them, business, community, fashion, and I was advised fashion, of course.
Of course. I was like, what are you saying? Of course she's in fashion. So let me read the fabulous bio for the vintage Contessa, as you may know her.
Yes.
She's an award-winning businesswoman, luxury stylist, philanthropist, and keynote speaker, with a flair for all things vintage. She co-owns the internationally recognized showroom, the Vintage Contessa, and Times Past, curating an exquisite collection of luxury pieces from iconic brands like Rolex, Chanel, and Louis Vuitton. Danae is also the voice behind the popular Living the Authentic Life podcast, where she dives into meaningful conversations with clients and friends. But that is not all, folks. Her commitment to philanthropy shines through her work with the Houston 20, fighting sex trafficking, such an important cause. Thank you very much. And her charitable efforts have raised thousands for very important causes. Let's dive into your journey, your passion, and all things luxury. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
So I get to ask the first question.
Oh my God.
Can you say
something first?
I'm so happy to be here. And it's fun to have the mic turned on me.
It is
on you.
It's on you the whole time if you want to interrupt us.
Exactly, and it's so big.
There you go.
It is, isn't it?
We're getting all of the things.
We're not even going there. Anyway,
here we go. Lisa's been on a roll.
He's small. It's good. We're good. We're good.
Lisa's been
Magical's
on a roll.
already left.
Well, you've been on a roll. You have been on the roll the last 3 weeks, and you haven't listened. But if you go, there's a trend line. We'll talk about the trend later.
No one's been complaining to me, but we will get complaints, from this segment today. But that's not this one, but another one.
Oh, God.
Anyway, what inspired you to start your business, and why did you focus on vintage fashion specifically?
So, growing up, I was not able to shop for high-end luxury goods. My parents believed in investing into property and into their business. So I was always shopping at discount stores and trying to put together outfits on a budget. Mm-hmm. My father was traveling on business trips to Italy, and my prized possession he would bring home a Gucci bag from the duty-free stores.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I started loving these accessories. In the beginning, it wasn't vintage. Now they're vintage because I'm vintage now.
Vintage. Like fine
it's
wine,
really
my
crazy.
friend. It's good.
Yes.
No,
we're going to go with
when your own stuff becomes
vintage.
That so long.
Yes. And so then fast forward, I start traveling, and I could buy vintage things in Europe because they had stores selling it. Whereas here it hadn't really picked up. This is back kind of in 2000, early. Rob and I started dating. I started traveling with him to shows. He's vintage watches, vintage jewelry.
He's like the largest pre-owned Rolex dealer, like in Texas, maybe the U.S., right?
He is
huge.
He is definitely a very, we trade so many different Rolexes, buying and selling internationally. And he would say, why are you buying this in Europe retail? Why aren't you buying vintage? And I thought, oh, okay, I need to be looking at that more. So then when I started buying, my friends started wanting it, and it became this side hustle for me.
Right, you were bringing it back for them.
Wow. Yes, yeah. And then when we finally got to a place after working with the family for 22 years in construction, I left and started the Vintage Contessa in 2011.
Awesome.
And that's what she wrote. And I get to do what I love every day. There's some other things that aren't as fun, like inventory or whatever, but you know, that goes with every job.
Yeah.
And I love that old things have lasted the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you can find something unique that no one else has. And so you can be exceptional in the room. Like all of your pieces are so exceptional.
Thank you.
You have bought throughout the years, and there's memories tied to all of that. And then I think too, if the pieces could talk, what we would learn would be pretty amazing. But thankfully they don't.
Yeah, I'm very grateful that nothing on it.
It's telling the stories
Other-
of
yeah,
the things
yeah.
they've seen.
I'm
Exactly.
getting in trouble all by myself, brand
Yes.
new. You know?
We don't
Exactly.
need any legacy, Leisa.
Yeah,
No,
thank
for,
you,
for
darling.
trouble.
Yeah.
So tell us, you mentioned your father bringing you the Gucci bags that are now
Yeah.
vintage, but and maybe those are your most favorite, but if you think of all the things you've collected over the years, is there a piece, speaking of things that are special with stories, that stands out as a prized possession of yours personally?
I have to say the prized possession is something I sadly don't own anymore.
Okay.
We were robbed at our house.
Oh gosh.
I know, which is kind of a sad thing, but the thing that started getting us into the Hermes world and the Birkin world is my push present I found on Madison Avenue when I was shopping. It was an Hermes Birkin. Rob bought it for me. This was in 2000, I guess, 2000. Bella was born in 5/18/07, 2006. And that was the thing that meant the most to me. And I guess after we were robbed, I've learned to maybe tie myself to the memories more so than I am to the possessions.
Sure.
But there's certainly special things. That I think the most special piece we've ever bought that's vintage was we represented the family that owned Amelia Earhart's Patek Philippe. And we sold it in auction in Monaco last April. And it was owned by a man named Seagrave, who was actually talk about sports. We can add some sports here.
Do it. Let's do it.
He was the...
You want her to be blessed.
Exactly. You're going to be blessed. No, he broke the speed record on land. He was the first guy to go over 200 miles an hour on land. And then he broke the record on water, but died doing it.
You know, sometimes you got to die doing what you love.
Wearing that
folks.
watch?
I'm okay
Wearing
with
the
that.
watch.
I'm okay with that.
Wow.
They pulled him out of the water,
And took the watch first.
It
and
was
let
still
him go.
working.
It didn't work. They had to send it to Patek Philippe to have it repaired.
That's fantastic. What
They
a story.
returned it to Selfridge's department store, who had given it to him. Then he gave it to Amelia Earhart to borrow. They thought she was wearing it when she went
down.
missing.
Yeah.
Went missing.
Yeah.
And we found a photograph just a few months before the auction of her wearing a different watch.
Wow. So then you found the watch?
So we had the watch and it said Seagrave, but we put together all the pieces that it was
How
hers.
fabulous. What
But
a
it
great
took-
adventure.
It was truly being part of such a history. And
That's amazing.
it is interesting. Some people come and they have the original receipt. They have the original paperwork.
Amazing.
This would
And
be
they-
me.
Yeah, and they pass it down in the family, and then they get to a place that the family might need money for something, or it doesn't have the meaning it did to the person before them. And then we're able to share it with someone else that values it. So it's pretty special.
Yeah. I'm listening to you, and this is such historical value and so important. And you have this persona of being the vintage Contessa, which, you're flapping all over the world, flying all over the world, first class,
Flapping sometimes.
having fabulous frayers or touye, whatever.
Yes,
You
yes.
have a group of friends who are glamorous.
Yes.
They're, we're not all always glamorous, but if they're on, they're glamorous.
Yes.
And this is so seriously important. It's so wonderful to see the seriously important side of you, which brings me to my next question. You have been so involved in philanthropy in Houston, which part of our whole show is about the fact that Houston is so philanthropic. There is no other city in America like us. I mean, there's one city that maybe donates more, which is New York City. Otherwise, we're definitely number 2 on the philanthropy donating. But our community and the volunteerism and all the things that we do, nothing compares to. So how did you get involved? What's your favorite thing? Why are you doing, why are you doing it? I know why I'm doing it. Everybody says, what are you doing this for? Aren't you done? No, I'm never going to be done. But tell us about that.
So thankfully, I grew up with a very philanthropic family.
Yes.
So from the time I was young, we were like adopting families for the holidays and buying gifts from them. So it was part of what I felt like was my culture, but also part of our faith journey. That for those who are given much is expected.
That's right.
And when I started post-college, I was on the Catholic Charities Board for 6 years, and it wasn't a glamorous position. We were hosting events, but it was like in the trenches, and our mission was to help people in need achieve self-sufficiency. And I feel like that's been part of my heart's journey, is not just giving someone something, but not giving the man the fish, but giving him the fishing pole and working with them to do it.
Right.
And over the last few years, I have worked on a TEDx talk, and part of it is about living authentically and coming alive, and what makes you come alive. And I'm really dissecting who I am. I found out it makes me more excited to bring people together in community and to have meaningful conversations and to feel like we're changing maybe just one person at a time or one thing at a time. And I found that with my platform of people loving fashion, I'm able to use that and then bring meaningful things into it. And I found this term, it's called ikigai. And it's a Japanese term. And it's when you find out what the world needs and how you can make the world a better place. And if you want to, how you can get paid to do it. And what you love to do. I found that if I bring people together in the name of fashion and talk about meaningful things, that I can just do it repeatedly. And people are like, how do you have the energy? Well, it fuels me.
Yeah, how could you not?
Yes.
That would be my question.
Well, I think it's easy for people not, because I think you're it's the truth. I think you're an anomaly in that we live in a very consumer-focused society, and so people tend to get lost in the sauce around the glitz and the glamour and the fashion. And so what you're doing is extra special because you found a way to, like you said, weave meaning into it. And I think the first gate is the fashion, it's the exterior, right? That's what people are drawn to.
But by the way, this is a Zara jacket.
Well, I mean, but it doesn't
because
matter.
it's high low,
but
right?
it's just what people are drawn to. So even if it was, you made it, it's not the point. You know how to put it together, and so you are a light, right? Lisa's a light, so you attract certain things, and then it's what you do with that. And so what you've just described is by using your light and your style and your work on the vintage side, you attract people, and then you use it for good. That is rare, my friend. And so that's why it is the truth.
And the other key that I just kind of connected after coming back from the Forbes Women's Summit is I want everyone around me to come into the light.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have the light on me.
Yeah.
I want to have the light on us. And everywhere I go, I'm like, meet this person. This person does this, and this person does this, and that's why you should talk. And I call it going deep quick.
Yeah.
I try to get to like the meaningful stuff. And of course then I'm like, oh my God, look at that necklace.
Well,
in the midst of the meaningful
of course,
stuff.
Well, of course. I mean,
Well, no, we do the same thing.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
basically, for me, I've gotten to a point where I don't have that much time to waste, number one. And then I met her, the most straightforward human I've ever met in my life.
She's direct, and I love
She
it.
is so direct. And so, if possible, I'm more direct than I've ever been, which may not be possible. But no, we agree with you. And we both, I would say, get such great joy out of helping others.
That's right.
I have been, my personal mission my whole life was helping you get what you want. I've had times in my life, like everybody sitting here, I'm sure, when I could not have what I wanted. But helping you get what you wanted made me just as happy.
That's right.
There's a jazz to closing the deal, hearing the approval at the cash register. I don't care what you call it. And of course, as we got older, we started turning toward community endeavors and, healthcare and things, and making a difference in people's lives through that kind of work, philanthropy, etc. But when I was a kid, man, I could just take you shopping. I thought I could plan.
Well, but I think
spending your money, hey, it worked for
what
me.
kid wouldn't, right? No, but I
Yeah.
think that's the thing, like
Yeah.
seriously, and I think that's the thing that makes our show so special. That's what makes you individually so special, and I can say that because I know you both. Is that I am telling you because I know these other humans. Everyone is not wired the same way, and not everyone sees that sort of altruism that they want to help. And because you do, that makes you even more special, and that makes this and the work that we're talking about even more of a thing that we look to amplify. Because I'm telling you, if you were to pick 100 fashionistas, go to New York Fashion Week, they ain't doing no charity events. They're not.
I know. And
I mean,
in fact,
it's just the truth.
I just met someone in New York last week who told me that she thought it was difficult that everything we did in Houston had fashion related to it, and she thought we should get to business quicker. And I said, "Oh, but that's the way we do business. Is that we?" And I said, "And it's not transactional."
Mm-mm.
And so
It's
you
relational.
find it is. And I think that's where some people are surprised by me, because as you guys are, I'm a force and I have a lot of energy and I have a lot of focus, but I'm not like, if I do this for you, you need to do this for me.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people were raised in that way, and I was just blessed to be raised in a different way.
That's because we're Texans,
Yeah.
and that's how I think
that has a
we
lot
have.
to do
I
with
think
it.
that is sort of
And
our
even
pedigree.
Houston, more
Yeah.
than just being a Texan.
So we need to get to, I know we could talk for hours and hours and we will have you back, but what we want to talk about is what is coming up next for you, because you have some exciting events, right? And some things that are happening.
I do.
So tell us.
Yes. So the most immediate thing that I just recently planned is I came back from the Forbes Women's Summit, and that event theme was women leading the way, and that we don't need to be wait to be asked, but we can lead the path. We can create the change.
Absolutely.
And we can start wherever we are. I feel like so many people say, well, when I get to this,
They do.
I'll do that. No, today. Start
Right now, folks.
today.
I love this.
Smile at the person at the grocery store. Look at the person in the eye that's in the bathroom cleaning up and say thank you to them.
Yes.
I spoke to the woman giving us lunch at the Forbes Women's Summit, and I said, "Oh my God, I'm so excited to be here. Can you believe you're here?" She goes, "I was just so excited that I could be in this room." And it was just such a moment. And what I've taught, our daughter has been through some really hard health challenges, and what we've instilled in her and what she's learned so hard is that even when you're empty, when you give to someone else, you feel more full.
Amen.
Yeah,
And
no, I totally agree with you. Totally.
And so much of what we're doing this year is about her health. She's received 9 rounds of stem cells from an incredible stem cell research, Hope Biosciences Research Foundation in Houston, Texas. She could go get her very own stem cells that were grown in a lab here in Houston and go home and sleep in her bed that night and go to school the next day.
That's awesome.
And that has changed her life and given her hope. We're also working, she's with the Women's Fund, helping young women in at-risk communities understand that they need to advocate for their health. And Bella and her friends are going to talk as peers, as young people, about how they've advocated for their
great.
health. We're going to give them tips on safety online. And that goes back so much to the work I'm doing to fight trafficking.
Yes.
Is so much of the predators or online pretending to be someone, a young boy, a young girl, and really they're an adult person going after you. We're going to give them safety tips. And then I'm also working with an incredible group called Revision. They are in the area code in Houston and the Sharpstown area with the biggest group of refugees in the city. And a lot of these kids are also homeless. And they created a group of where the boys could go play soccer, and girls too, and the boys and girls, but mostly girls, would break dance. And these soccer players have gone on to get college degrees, and they have come back and invested in this group.
That's so good.
And that's what the Women of Substance is doing this year. So we're doing a lot.
This is the second year that they've done revision.
So
It
where can we
is,
go and
which is
find out more
exciting.
about you? And then there we can link. We'll link in our show notes to some of the
Yes.
organizations.
So
for you,
the Women of Substance, you can go and you can participate by attending our event, and that's November 6th. And you can also go to the revision website. Bella's even volunteering and has been doing tutoring with the kids.
Wow.
There's and then I just interviewed Monica Fulton with the Women's Home. She's also with Search Homeless. And I love that all these groups are coming together.
Yeah.
And then they call Search when a child is homeless, and they help to get them a place to live. And then the girls, I want the Women's Fund to work there. So we're also trying to bridge these gaps in the services and
That's
get
fantastic.
the organizations together and really communicate together, because I feel like that's what really changes our community too.
I agree. This has been such a fantastic conversation. Thank you so much. And what's your website to the Vintage Contessa?
Yes, it's thevintagecontessa.com. You can also find us on Instagram at The Vintage Contessa. We post on Wednesdays. It's Wacky Watch Wednesday, where we're wacky, not the watches. But we come to you every day. You see so much of my charity work there. I show a little bit about struggle. I'm always posting on my stories about pushing through, and I'm trying to empower women with sharing things, because I feel like together, when people see me looking glamorous, they don't know I'm still walking the dog, picking up the dog poop, like sweeping the floor, vacuuming my, like it's real life. And
That's right.
Sometimes it's just hard. It's hard working with your husband. It's hard running a business. It's hard going to work every day.
Hard having a daughter with health issues.
It has
That's
been
the hardest.
truly so ripped me down to my knees, but it's brought me to a place that I'm the strongest in my faith. I'm the strongest in my workout regimen. I'm committed to going to yoga. I pray through yoga. So I'm mentally strong. I'm physically strong. And I feel like every person who's really living their best life has to find that balance.
That's
and
right.
that's another thing I would highly recommend to anyone, is find a balance between how hard you work, who you play with also makes an impact, the people you choose to be with you daily, and the words you hear in your head, and then how committed you are to taking care of who you are as a person.
Well, great. With that, thank you so much, Danae. It was such a great pleasure to have you here, and we'll be back.